find it. You lot have got a gun problem, innit? They've got a gun problem. They don't realise, the Americans don't realise, they don't understand the link between lots and lots of people having guns and lots of people getting shot. How can we explain it to her? All right. If I was to give you a mobile telephone, do you think you'll be more or less likely to make a telephone call?
Why do you need an assault rifle? Why can't we at least get rid of those? They were designed for war. Why is there an obsession to hang on to all of these weapons?
You have been so brainwashed. Do you have more than one TV? How dare you? What would you need that for? So just quit with the need crap. Are you kidding me? So I refuse to answer your question that you think you might know what I might need.
The facts are that mentally ill people get guns and they kill people. There is something wrong with the law, which involves guns, surely, that allows that to happen.
You can't tell me that you would restrict all those millions, hundreds of millions of law-abiding citizens' capability to defend themselves because of the few instances where maniacs or criminals abuse that tool.
But the fact is, there truly have been 62 massacres in the last 20 years in America.
Tragic.
Surely they could have been drastically reduced if the gun laws were tightened.
You are so beautiful and wrong. I'm telling you,
but
you just couldn't be more wrong. You have no evidence. There exists no evidence on planet Earth that this fantasy, this feel-good dream, that somehow if we can just get rid of the water, the drownings will stop, or just insert, we can just get rid of the guns and the violence will stop. You've got to be kidding me.
The United States is the only developed country where firearms outnumber people, with over 400 million guns in circulation. This is not the global norm. Japan, with one of the lowest gun death rates in the world, requires every firearm to be registered, and police visit owners' homes to verify safe storage. In the UK and Australia, after strict gun bans following mass shootings, firearm-related homicides dropped by over half within a decade. By contrast, the U.S. continues to suffer over 40,000 gun deaths annually, more than half by suicide, making guns not only a weapon of crime, but of self-destruction. What's often overlooked is that in countries with tighter regulations, every firearm has a documented life story, from the factory line to the licensed dealer to every legal owner. This makes untraceable ghost guns, which are rampant in the U.S., virtually impossible. The lack of such control in the U.S. makes tracing guns after a crime nearly futile. Thousands of firearms enter illegal markets every year through straw purchases or thefts, yet most are never recovered because there is no universal registry tying the weapon back to a verified chain of custody. In Germany, if a gun is stolen, the owner must immediately report it, and authorities can trace that weapon's journey within hours, cutting off circulation in the black market. In America, theft reports are often voluntary, leaving entire arsenals unaccounted for. The evidence is clear. Where firearms are rare and tightly monitored, violence is harder to commit, and when it occurs, law enforcement has precise tools to investigate and deter future crimes. The U.S. remains the outlier, treating firearms as unregulated commodities instead of controlled instruments, and the daily violence is the direct result.
How about we treat every young man who wants to buy a gun like every woman who wants to get an abortion? A mandatory 48-hour waiting period, parental permission, a note from his doctor proving he understands what he's about to do, a video he has to watch about the effects of gun violence, and an ultrasound wand up the ass just because. Let's close down all but one gun shop in every state and make him travel hundreds of miles, take time off of work, and stay overnight in a strange town to get a gun. Let's make him walk through a gauntlet of people holding photos of loved ones who were shot to death and people who call him a murderer and beg him not to buy a gun. I mean, it makes more sense to do this with young men and guns than with women and healthcare, right? I mean, no woman getting an abortion has ever killed a room full of people in seconds, right?
I'm trying to find the words because this is going to piss a lot of people off. And the people that this pisses off, I actually don't care about. But what I care about is the conversation that I think needs to be happening right now in this country and has needed to happen for a very long time. What I don't understand is, as someone who is liberal, when I talk about a mass gun shooting and kids being unalived, all right, on their third day of school, and I talk about how lawmakers won't protect children before they protect guns. Here is what I did not even mention in that statement, and therefore is not the topic at hand. What I did not say was that mental health in this country wasn't an issue. But I want you to think about this, because if guns were not as accessible, and I'm not talking about just a handgun, I am talking about assault rifles. If someone didn't have laissez-faire access to an assault rifle, what are they going after people with? A pencil? You can throw something at them. But we are talking about assault rifles that are easily accessible. That's it. That is the conversation. The conversation that I did not open it up to was about mental health. So what I really need conservatives to stop doing is stop having a what about argument. Two things can be true at once. We could need to tackle a gun issue in America and tackle a mental health issue in America. But the fact of the matter in this situation in Minneapolis today is somebody was able to enter a school with an assault rifle, and actually not just an assault rifle, 3 different weapons. They were able to enter a school and open fire on innocent lives. That is the argument we are having. We are not having an argument about mental health. So please do me a favor and get the fuck out of my comments about mental health being the issue and not guns. If that is your logic, you are the motherfucking problem. Period.
You need a prescription for opioids because they are dangerous and can harm only the person who takes them. You need a license to drive because cars can cause accidents that kill others. You cannot walk into a store and buy explosives or toxic chemicals without strict licensing and background checks. Yet in the U.S., a firearm, which exists solely to wound or kill, can often be purchased faster and with fewer hurdles than cough medicine containing codeine. This contradiction exposes how backwards the system is. If an object's potential harm to others determines how tightly it is controlled, then guns should be the most difficult item to acquire, not the easiest. Requirements like background checks, waiting periods, licensing, mandatory training, secure storage, theft reporting, and serial tracking are basic safeguards already used for less dangerous things. They work elsewhere, and they would work here. The reason these measures are resisted is profit. Gun manufacturers thrive on volume, with sales spiking after every mass shooting or election cycle. Ammunition, accessories, and aftermarket parts feed a multi-billion-dollar market. To protect this, lobbyists spend millions each year to block reforms, weaken tracing systems, and spread the narrative that regulation is an attack on freedom. They push through the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act, which shields companies from many lawsuits, ensuring victims, not manufacturers, bear the costs. They also fight technologies like microstamping that would make guns traceable from crime scenes. This is not about rights, it is about revenue. The easier it is to buy a gun, the more profitable the industry becomes. The harder it is to buy a gun, the safer the public becomes. At present, profit wins and safety loses.
So it didn't take kids being unalived in school week after week after week after week. It didn't take a state representative being gunned down in her own home, taking the lives of her husband and her dog. It didn't take children praying in a church that was shot up from the outside, killing 3 of them. It took but a white conservative man who spewed hatred for any group of people that didn't look like him for people to care. Now, I told myself I was not going to address the Charlie Kirk situation. There's enough of that going around. And I just want to be very clear that no matter who you are or your political party or any attributes about you, No single life deserves to be taken due to gun violence. Let me be very clear about that. He did not deserve to die. Do I like the man? 1,000% no. Did I support him, agree with him? Not on a single issue. And I'm just trying to understand the response and why it's so different than any other shooting. Why are we immediately ordering flags to be half-staff? We are immediately tweeting. We are immediately posting on Instagram. We are immediately sharing everything about this man. The man who said empathy is a weakness and should not exist. The man who said that we do need to sacrifice some lives in order to protect our Second Amendment rights and maintain gun access. I'm just trying to understand the overwhelming response and support for this man and not the children who have had to watch their best friends bleed out in school. Just trying to understand.
The most impactful move the Democratic Party of America could make right now is propose a bill named after Charlie Kirk and arrange a vote in Congress to pass this as an act of gun control. Then let the whole world watch how the Republican Party opposes this very bill named after one of their closest supporters. That will undoubtedly reveal their true hypocrisy and lack of moral integrity. If mass school shootings and other gun violences never move the Republicans, this one sure will. The world is watching you, Americans.
Let me speak clearly as a liberal Democrat. Because honestly, these tears are not because Charlie Kirk will be missed, but because of what our country is coming to. Firearms are never the answer. I cannot stand Charlie Kirk. I just made a video about him yesterday. But I would rather challenge every thought, everything that Charlie Kirk says all day, every day, than take his life. It's just never going to be the answer. Violence begets more violence. When are we going to decide that firearms are an issue in this country? By the way, there was another school shooting in Colorado today. The solution is never the firearm. The solution is challenging beliefs. It's challenging things on an intellectual level. The solution is finding solutions instead of propagating the problem. There has to be limits. There have to be rules. There just has to be. We can't keep doing this, America. We just can't.